when you were 16, you were cool.
No.
You know? Yes, Emma.
Thank you.
Yes, you were cool. What? No.
I
like,
look back and I cringe.
No,
but
I mean, I'm sure everybody does. But
yes.
when and I feel this when I look at like so many artists and creative people, it's like Billie, for example.
Yeah.
When how old was she when she kind of like came out? Like
what, 14?
I don't know. But she was so cool.
Yeah.
When I was 14, because I was making music when I was 14.
Yes.
It was like, I was so lame. I was but I was just like, I think that for me is the negative thing. Like, I feel like as time has moved on, the culture of cool and aesthetic
I know
and
exactly
references and being well read actually is kind of happening like younger and younger and younger. Like I feel like most like 12-year-olds are cool now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or have an awareness of like, my life is on the internet. I need to present in a certain way and I need to have certain interests and I need to understand certain things and know what's kind of like even like socially, politically, like culturally, like correct, incorrect, what's aesthetically pleasing versus not. Like when I was 12, you didn't really like, I mean, maybe I was just like super unaware and like not very smart or like cool.
No.
I don't know. But like those things weren't crossing my mind really. I was just like on MySpace.
Well, it was so new.
Being insane.
No, it was so new. You were like right before there was like Instagram as a tween. Okay, because I got Instagram as a tween and immediately it was like, oh fuck, I need to get my shit together. And it was like, and I wasn't in the public eye yet. Like you were already starting your career at 14, really. You know what I mean? 14, you're like everyone is a mess at 14. You're a mess. And like it's impossible. It also was what was trending. It changes literally every year. So like you look back now and you're cringing, but it's like that was what was, I feel like that's what was cool at the time. But it must be a nightmare to an extent because it's like, it's permanently a part of you. Like somebody who's not a public figure doesn't have to carry with them, you know, their 16-year-old identity, even their, you know, like they can shed it as they grow up. And it's like, you know, when you go from high school to college, you can shed your high school identity and just be a brand new person in college. And there's something really refreshing about that freedom. And I think it's challenging identity-wise to like have to hold on to everything. When it comes to making music too, because people still listen to music that you made when you were a completely different person, I can imagine. How do you like maintain a current identity when you are kind of constantly being haunted of Charli's past? You know what I mean?
I mean, again, I feel like this must be similar with you. It's like, I know that I have some really hardcore fans who have been with me through every kind of iteration of my career and understand my growth. And then I have some fans who are like, oh, I love Charli because she made Boom Clap. And like, that's, you know, that's like their favorite song. And that's probably like my peak in their mind and what they associate me with. Maybe like you have fans who are like, oh, I love Emma when she was making these videos when she was 16 and I don't really get her now.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Absolutely.
You know, and I feel like every person kind of has that. And, you know, there's different levels of fandom as well. There are the fans who are going to like ride or die for you. And, you know, if you decide to like do something completely, totally different than what you're working on right now, they'll still like stick with you and follow with you because they love you and all of the kind of facets of your personality. Whereas there are other fans who just, and this is no bad thing, but they just like this kind of gravitate to one particular thing that you do.
Totally.
And so I kind of, it's cool. Like I'm at peace with it because I like that people like different aspects of my work.
Yes.
And you know, you kind of have to celebrate that. And I think I'm always pretty like, I'll always like try and, well, sometimes I I'm not sure if this is a good thing. I kind of always try and like play to my audience. Like if I'm doing a more mainstream festival, I'll be like, I'll throw boom clap in. But if I'm like playing my headline show, like I'm not going to play boom clap.
Yep.
Although I have in the past, but you know.
Yeah, but also I do think, well, that's actually, I did have that question written down, was like maybe less about, you know, like the set list specifically, but more like when you're creating something new, who are you making it for? Because and why are you making it?
For me, I make it for me, definitely.
It's good.
Yeah. And especially with this record, it's been very like instinctual. I've just been like not really thinking about the consequence or the outside world, or even when I was making it, how it was going to be performed or anything like that.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think I always think about how it's going to be presented visually, because that goes very hand in hand with my music making process.
Yep.
But yeah, really just made music that I would want to hear in a club, basically.
Yeah. When it comes to the visual, like the visual relationship, what's sort of what's the process of that? Like, when do you start to imagine like what the visual identity is of a project? Does that just kind of come almost like sort of like a universe sent sort of like vision, or like is it something that like what comes first? Or do you have like an idea? Sometimes you're like, maybe you can see in your brain like the Pinterest board of it, and you're and then you're like, oh, this is sort of how I want to make the music. What comes first?
But it's both, and it's very chicken egg situation. Yeah. It's like with this record, I wrote a couple of songs, some which have ended up on the record, others which got discarded. Yeah. But I think after having like 3 or 4 songs that were like, okay, these are going to be on the record, I was like, oh, the title is Brat. And the world is very brutalist, and it's like this girl who like goes to a rave and she's wearing a tank top and you can kind of see her nipples through it. Yeah. She's like sweaty, but she's hot. She's like dancing with her friends. And, you know, I was just piecing this all together. And then that allowed me to go on and write more songs under this kind of guise of like, I know what this girl wants. Yes. You know, and that girl is me. Yeah. But like, you know, I was kind of, does that make sense?
I completely know what you mean.
Yeah. So it's kind of both. I keep doing this thing where I keep randomly just like looking into that camera.
It's like The Office.
It's just suddenly I'm just like, I'm like,
so
and
it's
I'm
like that
girl.
No, but it's kind of, honestly, lean into it because it's kind of fun. And like do people even watch the video version? I don't know. It's possible.
They do.
They must.
I've seen it.
It exists.
I watched like, I saw some TikToks of you and Owen.
Yes.
That must have been fun.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
Do you have guests a lot?
You know, it's been hard for me because I think I'm so used to, I love conversations, but it's also hard for me to bring, thank fucking God.
Thank God.
Like but I'm so used to doing it alone. So having like a conversation alone, like I built the podcast on that. And so I didn't ever have guests on. And I was like, it would be nice. Like, it would be nice to bring people on and sort of diversify the type of conversation that's happening. However, I think the challenge for me has been, it's nice when you know the person.
Yeah.
And I don't really, to be honest, like, I don't know that many people. Like, I'm not super.
You're not really like out and about.
No, I'm not, dude. It's crazy. Like, I'm so, and I don't know why that is, which I feel like you are out and about.
More than you, yeah. Like, no offense. Like,
not at all. This is the life I live.
No. I remember the first time we met was at, I don't know if I should say it because it feels like showy.
Wait, say it.
Now it's more of a thing. Now it's more of a thing. We were going for dinner. We had vegan chicken nuggets.
Yes. Wait, why do I feel like we met before that? I don't know.
You know what? I saw you at a Beanie Doobie show. And I was like, that's Emma. She doesn't know who I am. And we kind of looked at each other.
I fully knew who you were, but I just
looked. We both kind of did the thing of like,
yeah, we'll talk later. Like, I am so bad about.
I get nervous. In my head, this is my thing. because I've been told so many times that I look different all the time. I always do this thing when I meet someone where I'm like, even if I've met them before, I'll be like, hey, it's Charli. And they're like, yeah, bitch. Like, I know. Yeah. But like, I've been told by so many people that I often look very different from time to time, from like one time to another time. I think it might be a hair thing.
Oh, see, I have that because I always go blonde to brunette, blonde to brunette, back and forth.
But I'm like, yeah, but it's Emma.
See, like, but I feel that way about you.
Okay, well, that's nice to know.
But
so
I
anyway.
also always feel like I don't introduce myself to people a lot because I'm like, they don't care. Does that make sense?
That's why I didn't introduce. I was like, I'm not going to go over and be like, Emma, Charli. And also I wouldn't do it like that, but
it's easier on the receiving end. I hate doing it.
Same. It's nerve-wracking because what if I was like a bitch and you came over and you were like, hey, Charli, I'm Emma, and I was like, cool.
No, but that happens.
Go fuck yourself.
That, I swear to, it doesn't happen a lot. No. But that shit will happen.
It's happened occasionally. And I would never ever do that to anyone.
You would never.
But now knowing you, I'm like, you would also never do that to anyone.
Never.
But like, you never know.
You fully don't.
You never know because someone's like could be just like presenting as really cool, and then you meet them and they're like, "Hey, like, why don't you fuck off?"
No, it's well, that's the thing. You know? I am like weird about just being like this sort of like quiet little fly on the wall in the corner, and I'm not. I don't know. I'm not like a socialite. Like I'm not built that way. Whereas I feel like, and being a socialite, that like word, that term, I don't have a better one, but it's like. That's a skill.
I feel like we are very cut from the same cloth in the way that we interact with people and also the way that we go out. Like I go out more than you, I do think. But I think when I'm out, I behave the same way as you.
Oh, totally.
I'm just kind of like, bah.
Yes. Like we were out like in Paris. And
that was so fun.
So fun. But I felt we had a similar vibe where it's like, I mean, a lot of your public identity is around this sort of like
girl who goes out thing.
Girl who goes out, but in a fucking cool way that's like, it's not going out for anyone else. It's going out for you.
Yeah.
Like that's your spirit, which is, I feel like something that is so, it's a good message because I feel like that's when going out is a net positive
thing.
Were you more of a party girl back in the day and it's sort of like fizzled now, or is it, I don't know, how has it evolved over the years?
It's honestly, it's the same, babe. Like
I love that though. That's so like, good.
I definitely, I'm 31 now, so I definitely have to pick and choose my moments a little bit more because,
of course,
like, I like to have some drinks, and when I was like, 19, I could go for it and never feel anything. And now I'm like, I got to be a little more like, selective. Yeah. And for me, it's like, I always want to go out if I'm feeling like up for it and if it's going to be fun. I never want to go out just because it's like an event that I have to do.
Yes.
Like that, I really treat that as work, actually. Yeah. And I'm sure you're kind of the same. It's like, if there's like a party that's part of a fashion show, like most of the time it's not turning into like a really fun time. Sometimes it is.
It's rare.
But
rare.
But often it feels like work, and then you like leave and you go and like meet up with your friends like we did in Paris in that like random restaurant that we ended up like taking over, which was so fun.
Yes.
And so I love it. It's like for me, if I'm down, there's a good group of people, like let's go.
I was curious about that because I think a lot of people, as they, like go through their career and as things evolve, they start to become like, you know what, like I can't do these things anymore. Like I can't wear clothes like this anymore, or I can't go out like this anymore. Yeah. They sort of like stop themselves from doing things that are maybe fun or more like.
Well, my problem is I have no control. Yeah, which is also kind of a bad thing. Like, if I do go to like a fashion party that turns fun, for example, like I have no sense of like, now would be the appropriate time for me to leave. You know, I'm like, if I'm having fun, I'm like, yeah, like we're here, woo!
But like someone has to fucking do that.
Yeah, that's me.
At like a corporate-ish party.
All the
you know?
people are like, oh yeah, no, we're like going at like 10:30 and I'll be there till 1, like, woo!
No, but that's but that's you though. That just proves, I think, your like identity is honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is you. Is that something that you're sort of like maintaining because you're like, this has been sort of my identity for so long, my brand for so long, like I'm gonna stick to this, and maybe it's not me anymore, but it's still in me in some way. So I'm creating it for almost this like maybe this past self or like this caricature of me. But it sounds like it's not that, and it's fully you.
I'm in it. I'm in it. More than actually ever, I think. Like I think like making club music has sort of almost reintroduced me to the idea of like being really down to go out and like listen to club music and put myself in those environments, because I'm making that music more. So I've kind of been collaborating with people more in that world. And that opens me up to like, oh, come to this thing, or someone's doing a techno party or whatever. And that's really fun. Like I really like going out, and I really like, you know, my fiance's in a band, so I feel bad saying this, but like I really don't like, I like watching them, but I don't love going to like live shows. Like I want to watch like a DJ. I want to go to a party.
Understand that.
No offense to bands out there. Like we love you.
We love the bands.
We love the bands. We love the live music.
Yeah, but you're not like bumping. Like you're not bumping.
No, you're kind of like, you're kind of going like,
yes.
You know, I want to be like,
I could not agree more. Like I almost either want something that's so slow and so crazy that everyone's sitting down, or crazy shit, right?
Yeah, you know what the thing is that is cool?
Yeah.
It's like, obviously, if you're going to see if you're going to see a band in an arena, there is an option to sit, which is awesome. But if you're going to see a band who's maybe playing like the Shrine, like a 5,000 cap theater or whatever, I just feel like there should be an option for like seats.
Oh, I could
like
not
I'd
agree
love
more.
to just like have a little pop-up chair.
Fully. Like it shouldn't be
like, it shouldn't be mandatory to have to stand in a smaller gig. Like maybe they could give us like stools.
Stools would be great.
You know?
Bare minimum.